At this time, I would like to introduce a gentleman who's one of America's top Shakespearean scholars. He has a bachelor's degree from the University of California at Berkeley, where I believe he read 2 books about Sir William Shakespeare. He is here tonight to provide a brief preface to the complete works of William Shakespeare, abridged. Please welcome me, in joining in the stage, Mr. Jess Winfield. Mr. Jess Winfield, everybody, come on.
Thank you, Daniel. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. William Shakespeare. Playwright, poet, actor, philosopher, a man whose literary and creative genius has had an immeasurably profound influence on the entire consciousness and culture of the English-speaking world. And yet, how much do we inhabitants of the 21st century really know and appreciate the tremendous body of work contained in this single volume? Too little, I would argue. I believe I could illustrate this point by taking a brief poll here amongst the audience. Bob, could I have some house lights, please? Now, you're a theater-going crowd, above average cultural and literary awareness, yet by a brief show of hands, please show me how many of you have ever seen or read a play by William Shakespeare. Any contact with the bard at all, just raise your hands. I think they might know more than we do. We better get out of here.
Don't worry about it.
No, we should really start running now.
They don't know Shakespeare from Shinola. Just keep going.
Well, what should I do?
Narrow it down.
What?
Narrow it down.
Let's see if we can narrow it down. How many of you have ever seen or read, let's say, All's Well That Ends Well? Yes, that seems to be separating the wheat from the chaff rather nicely. Now, let's see if we can find out who the true Shakespeare trivia champs are tonight. Has anybody ever seen or read King John? King John, anyone? You have? Really?
Yeah.
Would you mind telling us what it's about?
It's about a hunchback.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, sure, you may laugh, you may scoff, ladies and gentlemen, but let he among you without sin live in a glass house. Do you see that face, ladies and gentlemen? That face represents all your faces. That empty brain represents your empty brains. Those glazed eyes are your eyes. And these teeth are your teeth. And they cry out, philosophy. I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, that the capacity of our collective culture to comprehend, much less attain, the genius of a William Shakespeare has been systematically shortened by sitcoms, sodomized by soap operas, and screwed by Betsy DeVos. But have no fear. Your intellectual salvation is here.
Sing it, brother.
We descend amongst you, sent on a mission by God and the literary muse to spread the word of the bard to the masses.
Testify.
To help you take the first haltering steps out of that 21st century quagmire of Ellen and The View and Oprah Jerry Springer Winfrey and into the future.
Amen.
A glorious future. A future where manly men wear pink tights with pride. A future where this book is found in every hotel room in the world. A book, a future. Join us. This is my dream, and it starts tonight. Join us in taking the first steps down the path to the brave new world of intellectual redemption by opening your hearts. Yes, open your hearts and your pocketbooks. Or you can charge your donation to your MasterCard or Visa by dialing 555-BARD right now. Give us your cash if we be friends, and deduct it when the tax year ends. Now, on with the show. May the bard be with you. Thank you, and hallelujah.
Thank you, Jess. Now, those of you who own a copy of this book know that no collection is complete without, well, a brief biography of the bard. So, without further ado, please welcome to the stage Mr. Adam Long. Mr. Adam Long, everybody.
Shit.
Hi. My bad, let me help you.
Don't touch them, they go in an order.
Okay.
Hi. As you can see, I'm not an audience member. I completely fooled you. Well, I've just been taking some notes on Shakespeare's life so we can get the show off to a good start so you can know everything he's done and everything.
Get on with it.
Okay, William Shakespeare William Shakespeare was born in 1564 in the town of Stratford-upon-Avon, Warwickshire. The third of 8 children, he was the eldest son of John Shakespeare, a locally prominent merchant, and Mary Arden, daughter of a Roman. Catholic member of the landed gentry, in 1582 he married Anne Hathaway. Not that Anne Hathaway. She was a farmer's daughter. A farmer's daughter? Fine. So, he is supposed to have left Stratford after he was caught poaching in the deer park of the local justice of the peace. Shakespeare arrived in London in 1588, and by 1592 he had achieved success as an actor and a playwright. After 1608, his dramatic production lessened, and it seemed that he spent more time in Stratford. There he dictated to his secretary Rudolf Hess the work Mein Kampf, in which he set forth his program for the restoration of Germany to a dominant position in Europe. After reoccupying the Rhineland zone between France and Germany, and annexing Austria, the Sudetenland, and the remainder of Czechoslovakia, Shakespeare invaded Poland on September 1st, 1939, thus precipitating World War II. I didn't know that before. Okay, Shakespeare remained in Berlin when the Russians entered the city and committed suicide with his mistress Eva Braun. Here he lies buried at the church at Stratford. Thank you.
Oh, Jesus, damn. So, without further ado, we're proud to present the complete works of William Shakespeare, abridged.
All the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. They have their exits, and they have their entrances, and one man in his time plays many parts. One man in his time plays many parts. How true, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, where better to begin our exploration of the greatest English playwright of all time than in Verona, Italy, with one of his most beloved plays, Romeo and Juliet. Now, it would be impossible to portray all the characters in Romeo and Juliet with just 3 actors, and that's why we're going to use 2. That's right. Adam and Daniel will attempt to portray all the major character roles in Romeo and Juliet while I fill in with bits of narration. Now, after extensive textual analysis and research, we've decided to begin our abbreviated version of Romeo and Juliet with the prologue.
2 households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene. From ancient grudge, break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these 2 foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life.
Whose misadventures piteous o'erdole, do with their death bury their parents' strife.
Act 1, Scene 1. On the street, meet 2 men, tall and handsome. One, Benvolio, the other named Samson. Their hatred fueled by an ancient feud. For one served Capulet, the other Montague.
Oh my God! Oh, I like to rise when the sun she rises early in the morning.
I have a little dog. His name was Mr. Jakes. I sent him to the grocery store to fetch a pound of figs.
Oh, it's him! I hate him! I hate his guts! I swear to God, I'm gonna kill him!
Ooh, it's him. I hate his family, hate his dog, hate him all.
Hi. Do you bite your thumb at me, sir?
No, sir. I do but bite my thumb.
Do you bite your thumb at me, sir?
No, sir. I do not bite my thumb at you, sir. But I do bite my thumb. Do you quarrel, sir?
Quarrel, sir? No, sir!
But if you do, I am for you. I serve as good a man as you.
No better.
Yes, better. You lie!
What's with this?
Oh, rebellious subjects, enemies to the peace.
Uh-oh, it's the prince. Oh, sorry. The character formerly known as Prince.
Profaners as his neighbor stained steel. You, Capulet, shall go along with me. Benvolio, come you this afternoon to know our farther pleasure in this case. Sorry.
Oh, where is Romeo? Saw you him today. Right glad I am he was not at this fray. But see, he comes. In a minute, he takes a while because he's like a woman. Not a really good joke, but we'll wait for it. Romeo, he cried, I don't know his grievance or be much denied. Good morrow, cuz.
Is the day so young?
But new strike nine.
I mean, that hours seem long.
What is it that makes Romeo's hours seem long?
Having that which having makes them short.
In love?
Out
of love.
Out of her favor, where I am in love.
Alas, that love, so gentle in his view, should be so rough and tyrannous in proof.
Alas, that love, whose view is muffled still, should without eyes see pathways to his will.
Oh! Go ye to the feast of Capulets. There sups the fair Rosaline whom thou so lovest. Go thither and compare her face with some that I shall show, and I shall make thee think thy swan a crow.
I'll go along. No such sight to be shown, but to rejoice in splendor of my own.
Well, so much for Act 1. Now on to the Feast of Capulet, where Romeo is doomed to meet his Juliet, and where in a scene of timeless romance, he'll try to get into Juliet's pants.
She doth teach the torches to burn bright, with my heart love till now, forswear its sight, for I never saw true beauty till this night.
You talking to me?
Yeah. If I profane with my own words this hand, this holy shrine, which I define is this, my lips to blush in pilgrim's ready stand, to smooth that rough touch with a tender kiss.
Good pilgrim, you do wrong with your hands too much, which manly devotion shows in this. For saints have hands that pilgrims' hands do touch, and palm to palm is holy palmer's kiss.
Have not saints' lips and holy palmers too?
Aye, good pilgrim, lips that they must use in prayer.
Oh, then, dear saint, let lips do what hands do.
Saints do not move, though grant for prayer's sake.
Then move not while my prayer's effect I take.
Then from my lips the sin that they have took.
Oh, trespass sweetly urged, give me my sin again.
I want to kiss you.
It's in the script.
No! You kiss by the book. Oh, coming, mother.
Is she at Capulet? I. So I feel. The more is my unrest. Adam, what are you doing?
Just give me a minute, okay?
Jesus, what are you doing?
The balcony scene.
But soft, what light through yonder window breaks?
Romeo, oh Romeo, wherefore art thou Romeo? Deny thy father and refuse thy name. What is in a name, anyway? That which we call a nose by any other name would still smell. Oh, Romeo! Oh my God! Who needs Romeo? Doff thy name, which is no part of thee, take all myself.
I take thee at thy word. Call me but love, and I shall be new baptized. Henceforth, I never shall be Romeo.
What did you just say?
Call me but love, and I shall be new baptized. Henceforth, I never shall be Romeo.
Call you butt love?
Henceforth, I never shall be Romeo.
No, you're butt love.
I never shall be Romeo.
Butt love!
Jesus Christ, man.
What a man art thou? Art thou not Romeo and a Montague?
Neither for maid, if either thee dislike.
So dost thou love me then? I know thou wilt say aye, and I will take thee at thy word. Though if thou say it, thou mayest prove false. If you love me, pronounce it faithfully.
Lady, by yonder blessed moon.
Swear not by the moon!
What shall I swear by then? Lady, by yonder blessed virgin, I swear.
I don't think so. Do not swear at all. Although I joy in thee, I feel no joy in this contract tonight. It is too rash, too sudden, too unadvised, too like the lightning which doth cease to be ere one can say it lightens. Sweet good night. Sweet good night. Hey, yo, butler, over here!
Oh, wilt thou leave me so unsatisfied?
What satisfaction canst thou have?
The exchange of thy love's faithful vows for mine.
I gave thee mine before thou didst request it. Hey! Second base is for second date, sweetie.
Yeah, sure, whatever.
3 words, gentle Romeo, and then good night indeed. If that thy bent of love be honorable, thy purpose marriage, send word tomorrow. Oh, good night, good night. Parting is such sweet sorrow. Really, it is. Bye, but love.
Sleep dwell upon thine eyes, peace in thy breast. Oh, that I would sleep in peace, so sweet to rest.
Lo, Romeo did swoon with love. Ugh. By Cupid he'd been crippled, but Juliet had a loathsome cuz, whose loathsome name was Tybalt.
Romeo, the love I bear thee can afford no better terms than this. Thou art a villain. Therefore, turn and draw.
Tybalt, I do protest. I never injured thee, but love thee better than thou canst devise.
Thou wretched boy, I am for you. Oh, I am slain.
Jeff, what now? What?
I don't know, he skipped all this stuff. Go here.
Okay.
Moving right along, from Tybalt's death onward, the lovers are cursed. Despite the best efforts of friar and nurse, their fate pursues them. They can't seem to duck it. And at the end of the 5th act, they both kick the bucket.
Gallop apace, ye fiery-footed steeds, and bring on the night immediately. Come, civil knight, come, Romeo. Oh, come. Oh, night. Oh. I didn't write it, okay? And bring me my Romeo.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, it is my nurse. Now, nurse, what news?
I like the day. He's gone, he's killed, he's dead.
Can heaven be so envious?
Romeo, whoever would have thought of it? Romeo!
What devil art thou to torment me thus? This torment should be roared in dismal hell. Hath Romeo slain himself?
¡Ay, Dios mío! ¡Santa María, Madre de Dios! ¡Ahora ya no eres la vuelta! ¡Santa María! ¡Qué de gracia!
Oh, no, he's gone. He's killed. He's dead. What are you doing tonight?
I saw the wound. I saw it with mine own eyes. God save the martyr in his manly breast.
Is Romeo slain? And Tybalt too? My dear cousin and my dearer lord? Then dreadful trumpets sound the general doom.
No, Julieta, no. Tybalt is dead and Romeo banished. Romeo that killed Tybalt, he is banished.
Hath Romeo's hand fled Tybalt's blood?
He did. Alas, the day.
Thank you. Oh, and now Romeo is banished, whom Tybalt would have slain, and that's good, isn't it? I said, isn't it?
Yeah.
Damn right. And Tybalt is slain, whom would have killed my husband, and that's good, isn't it? Isn't it?
Yes.
So then why do I feel like shit? It is not a good day for Juliet. It is an icky, poo-poo, caw-caw, weebles-wobbles, but they don't fall down dead. Oh, Friar Lawrence, Romeo he's banished and Tybalt is slain, and I got cramps in that not so
Hey,
fast.
Juliet, Juliet. I already know the grief. Take out this vial, and this distilled liquor drink la wolfa. And presently through all thy veins shall roll a cold and a drowsy humor.
Oh, I feel a cold and drowsy humor running through my veins.
Told thee so.
Hey, this feels kind of nice.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I'm dead.
Ah! My love, my wife, death that has sucked the honey of thy breath, hath no power yet upon thy beauty. Oh, Juliet. Why art thou yet so fair?
I don't know, just lucky, I guess.
Shall I believe this unsubstantial death is amorous, to keep thee here in the dark, to be his paramour? Here's to my love. Oh, true apothecary, thy drugs are quick. Thus, with a kiss, I die. Thus, with a kiss, I die.
Oh, good morning. Now where is my love? Ah! What's this? A cup closed in my true love's hand? I see poison hath been his timeless end, and left no friendly drop to help me after. Then I'll be brief. Oh, happy dagger, this is thy sheath! Well, that's Romeo for you, like really. Ah! 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 There, rust and let me die. The end.
Epilogue. A glooming peace this morning with it brings. The sun for sorrow will not show its head. Go forth and talk more of these sad things, for some shall be pardoned and others punished. For never was there a story of such woe than that of Juliet and her Romeo. And Romeo and Juliet are dead. Thank you, Springfield, and good night.
Give it up for Romeo and Juliet, everybody. Come on, come on. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, in preparing this unprecedented complete work show, we have encountered this problem. Sorry. How do you make this musty 400-year-old plays accessible to a modern audience? Well, one popular trend is to take Shakespeare's plays and transpose them into a modern setting. We have seen evidence of this with Shakespeare's plays set in such bizarre locations as the lunar landscape, Nazi concentration camps, and even New Jersey. So, in this vein, Jess has traced the roots of Shakespeare's symbolism in the context of a pre-Nietzschean society through the totality of a jejune circular relationship form, contrasted with a complete otherness of metaphysical cosmologies and the ethical mores entrenched in the circular relationship of an agrarian race. So we now present Shakespeare's first tragedy, Titus Andronicus, as a cooking show.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to Roman Meals. I'm your host, Titus Andronicus. Now, when you've had a long day, your right hand cut off, your son's murdered, your daughter raped, her tongue cut off, and both her hands chopped off, well, the last thing you want to do is come home and cook. Unless, of course, you cook the rapist and serve him to his mother at a dinner party. My daughter Lavinia and I will show you how. Good evening, Lavinia. And how are we feeling today?
Good, Mama. I got my homie on.
I know. Isn't it a pisser? But we'll get our revenge. Now, hawk villain, I shall grind your bones to dust, and of it and your blood I'll make a paste. And of that paste a coffin I will rear, and make a pasty of your shameful head. Come, Lavinia, receive the blood.
Okay.
Now, the first thing we want to do is make a nice, clean incision from the carotid artery to the jugular vein, like so.
Yeah! That's really close, Mama!
Now, be sure to use a big bowl for this, because the human body holds about 4 quarts of blood. And when that he were dead, which should be right about now, let me go and grind his bones to powder small, and with this hateful liquor temper it. And in that paste, let his vile head be baked at about 350 degrees. And 40 minutes later, you'll have this lovely human head pie, which I prepared earlier. Oh, and serving suggestion, lady fingers for dessert. Now, who will be the first to try this taste treat? Welcome, gracious Lord. Welcome, dread queen. Wilt please thou eat? Will please thou feed? It's finger-licking good. Well, we're just about out of time. Thanks for tuning in. And be sure to watch next week when our guest chef, Timon of Athens, will teach us how to make ratatouille out of our very special guests, the Merry Wives of Windsor. Until then, bon appetit!
I hope no one was too offended by Titus Andronicus. You see, Shakespeare as a young writer seems to have gone through an early Quentin Tarantino period, really. No doubt if he was still alive, he'd be on Hollywood right now working on Titus Andronicus 9, Just Desserts. But we shall now move on to explore the genius evident in Shakespeare's more mature plays, as we now present his dark and brooding tragedy, Othello, the Moor of Venice.
Speak of me as I am. Let nothing extenuate of one who loved not wisely, but too well. For never was there a story of more woe than that of Othello and his Desdemona. Ah! Oh, Desi.
Bob, can I have some house lights? Bob?
Really?
What? We left Adam on his own to research this play. He must have looked up the word more in the dictionary and thought it was a place where you tie up boats.
Which is completely pea-brained in this context. In the 16th century, the term Moor referred to a person of African descent.
Oh! I feel like such a dork!
Obviously, we have a little problem performing Othello because the part was written for a black man, and I'm not.
I'm Puerto Rican.
We're not black. So, basically, due to physical limitations, we are unable to perform Othello, the tragedy of the Moor of Venice. So, we'll move on to the comedy.
The comedies,
yes,
yeah.
The comedies.
Hey, you guys! We can still do it!
No, Adam, come on. No, just stop.
No, wait. I've got an idea.
No.
No. It's better than the boats, really. Just kind of join in when you can, you know?
Okay, what is it? Okay.
Right?
Hey, yo, DJ Bob! Drop that beat.
It's a story of a brother by the name of Othello. He liked white women and he liked green jello.
Oh, yeah. And a punk named Iago who made himself a menace because he didn't like Othello, the Moor of Venice.
Othello got married to Desdemona.
But he went up to the wars and he left her alone.
It was a Mona.
A Grona. He left her alone. Yeah!
Now Othello loved Desi like Adonis loved Venus.
And Desi loved Othello because he had a big sword.
But Iago had a brain that was clever and slick. He was crafty.
He was sly.
He was sort of a penis.
He say, I'm gonna shaft the Moor.
How you gonna do it?
Tell us.
Well, I know his tragic flaws, Daddy's
Too damn jealous.
I need a coupe, I need a dope, I need some kind of a schmo.
So we found a chump sucker by the name of
And he
Cassio.
plans on him, besemos his handkerchief,
And Othello gets to wondering just maybe if, while he been out fighting,
commanding an army.
Desi and Cass played hide the salami. Salami.
So he come back home and he smothered the bitch.
And he thinks he pulled it off without a hitch.
But there's Amelia at the door.
Who he made that for?
Say, you big dummy, she wasn't no whore, she was
Pure,
she was
clean,
she was
virginal too. So why'd you have to go and make her face turn blue? It's true.
It's you.
Now what you gonna do? And Othello say,
Damn! This is getting pretty scary.
Put on his blade and come in at Harry Carey.
Iago got caught, but he probably copped the plea.
Loaded up his bag.
And moved to Beverly
Hills,
Hills,
that is East Coast.
That was awesome.
That was-
Bob, house lights. Bob, thank you. Woo. So, why don't we take a break from all this heavy tragedy, right? And move on to the comedies for a while.
Oh, yes, the cop.
Yeah, the comedies, woo! Yeah.
Now, when it came to the comedies, Shakespeare was a genius at borrowing and adapting plot devices from different theatrical traditions.
Yeah, that's right. These influences included the plays of Terence and Plautus, Ovid's Metamorphosis, and the rich tradition of Italy's Commedia dell'arte.
Yeah, so basically Shakespeare stole anything that he ever wrote.
Stole is kind of harsh, bro. I mean, distilled maybe.
Okay, fine. So he distilled the 3 or 4 funniest gimmicks of his time and milked that into 16 plays.
You see, essentially, Shakespeare was a formula writer. Once he found a device that worked, he used it.
Over and over and over again.
So, Mr. Shakespeare, the question we have is this. Why did you write 16 comedies when you could have written just one?
And to answer this question, we have taken the liberty of condensing all 16 of Shakespeare's comedies into one play, which we have entitled Two Well-Measured Men of Venice Get Lost in the Merry Wives of Venice on a Midsummer's 12th Night in Winter.
Or,
Cymbeline taming Pericles, the merchant in the tempest of love, as much as you like it for nothing.
or
The Love Boat Goes to Verona.
comedy?
Comedy.
Comedy, yeah, woo, comedy!
Act 1.
A Spanish duke swears an oath of celibacy and turns the rule of his kingdom over to his sadistic and tyrannical twin brother. He learns some fantastical feats of magic and sets sail for the golden age of Greece, along with his daughters, 3 beautiful and virginal sets of identical twins. While rounding the hill of Italy, the Duke's ship is caught in a terrible tempest, which, in its fury, casts the Duke up on a desert island along with his most beautiful and virginal daughter. This innocent vision of loveliness stumbles into a dark cave where she is molested by an inhuman green monster who symbolizes the extreme right wing of the Republican Party.
Act 2.
The Duke's brother's sons, also coincidentally 3 sets of identical twins, have just arrived in Italy. They are ragged, destitute, penniless, flea-infested shadows of the men that they once were, and in the utmost extremity are forced to borrow money from an old Jew who tricks them into putting down their brains as collateral for the loan. They fall in love with 6 Italian sisters, 3 of whom are sharp-tongued, contentious little shrews, while the other 3 are airheaded little bimbos.
Act 3. The Duke's identical daughters wash up on the shores of Italy and disguise themselves as men and become pages to the shrews and matchmakers to the Duke's brother's sons. They lead all the lovers into the forest, where on a midsummer's night, a group of mischievous fairies squeeze the aphroditic juice of the hermaphroditic flower into the eyes of the shrews, causing them to fall in love with their own pages, who in turn have fallen in love with the Duke's brother's sons. While the queen of the fairies seduces a jackass, and they all have a lovely bisexual animalistic orgy.
Act 4. The elderly fathers of the Italian sisters, finding their daughters missing, dispatch messages to the pages, telling them to kill any man in the vicinity.
Though unable to find anyone, in a final misguided act of loyalty, the pages deliver the messages to each other and kill themselves.
Meanwhile, the Duke and the fish creature show up in the forest disguised as Russians, and for no apparent reason, perform a two-man underwater version of Chekhov's Uncle Vanya.
Act 5. The Duke commands the fairies to right their wrongs.
The pages and the bimbos get into a knockdown, drag-out fight in the mud.
During which, the page's clothing gets torn off, revealing female genitalia.
The Duke recognizes his daughters.
The Duke's brother's sons recognize their uncle.
The magician turns the fish monster into an orange newt who becomes the President of the United States.
And they all get married and go out to dinner.
Except for a minor character in Act 2 who is eaten by a bear. And the Duke's brother's sons who, unable to pay back that old Jew, are forced to give themselves lobotomies.
And they all live happily ever after.
We now move on to the rest of Shakespeare's tragedies because basically we have found that the comedies aren't half as funny as the tragedies. Take, for example, Shakespeare's Scottish play Macbeth.
No.
Shut up! What? No, oh, right. I'm sorry, I forgot.
Which you're really not supposed to talk about in a theater unless you're performing it because it's cursed! Booga, booga.
It's boo. Fortunately, however, we not only performed an abbreviated version of Macbeth, but after much thorough research, we are able to do so in perfect Scottish accents. Double, toil and trouble.
Stay, McPerfect, McSpeaker. Tell me, McMore.
Macbeth, beware, Macduff. None of woman born shall harm Macbeth, till Barnum would come to dance again. Don't you know?
Well, up. That's dead great. McWhat, McI, McFear, McDuff.
See you, Jimmy, and no, that I was from me mother's room untimely lit. What do you think about that?
I don't like it, but I support a woman's right to choose.
Yeah, he's got a point.
Come on, you haggis face.
Ah, Macbeth, you killed me wife. You murdered me kids. You shat in me stew.
Aye, deny.
Oh, aye, you did. I had to throw half of it away. Here lies the usurper's cursed head. Macbeth, your arse is out the windy. Heads up. And know that never was there a story of more blood and death than that old Mr. and Mrs. Macbeth. Thank you.
Meanwhile, Julius Caesar was a much beloved tyrant.
All hail Julius Caesar.
Hail, citizens!
Who was warned by a soothsayer.
Beware the Ides of March.
The great Caesar chose to ignore the warning.
What the hell are the Ides of March?
The 15th of March.
Well, that's today. To Brute.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ear. I have come to bury Caesar, so let's bury him already and get on with my play. Antony!
And Cleopatra. Is this an asp I see before me? What?
You have this bizarre notion that all of Shakespeare's tragic heroines wear really ugly wigs and vomit on people before they die.
Well, don't they?
No, dude, get a clue. Antony and Cleopatra is not a Pepto-Bismol commercial. It's a thrilling love story about a geopolitical power struggle between Egypt and Rome.
Oh, it's one of Shakespeare's geopolitical plays. If I'd have known that, I would have never screwed around with it, you know? Shakespeare's geopolitical work is some of my favorite stuff. It's almost like the themes that he wrote about 400 years ago are still relevant today. Like, what's that one he wrote about how nuclear energy affected the Soviet Union? Remember that one?
Adam, he never wrote anything about the Soviet Union.
He totally did. It was called Chernobyl Kinsman, and it was pretty cool. You see, it was about this nuclear reactor that melted down, and it started affecting all the neighboring kingdoms, but the king of Chernobyl acted like it never happened, even though the peasants were, like, growing second heads and stuff. And then in Act 2, there's this cloud of nuclear energy that floats over to the New World and creates this race of TV evangelists. You know?
Adam.
What?
Buddy, what the hell are you talking about?
Chernobyl Kinsman. It was this...
No, Adam. Shakespeare wrote a play called Two Noble Kinsmen.
Not Chernobyl Kinsman.
Two, you see this? 1, 2, Noble Kinsmen.
Well, what's Two Noble Kinsmen about?
It's about a girl who's scared to death that her boyfriend's gonna be eaten by wolves and her father hanged.
Oh, well, is there anything about Boris Yeltsin in it?
No.
Well, I've never heard of that play, so...
Well, that doesn't surprise me. I mean, maybe I should explain. Ladies and gentlemen, Two Noble Kinsmen falls into the category that scholars would refer to as the Apocrypha, or in some scholarly circles, the obscure plays, or the lesser plays, or simply the bad plays. But not all of the Apocrypha is, without merit. Take Troilus and Cressida. It's hardly crap at all. I go into it at some length in my soon-to-be-released book about Shakespeare called I Love My Willie, which I'd like to whip out for you right now. The manuscript, guys. I thought that maybe we could do a little improvised version of Troilus and Cressida tonight, based on this chapter.
Oh, like
Sure,
performance art?
Yeah, let's do like an interpretive dance performance art version.
Yeah. I love performance art. It's so pretentious. And we can use Troilus and Cressida as a jumping off point to talk about the deeper themes like the transient nature of life and the mythology behind the arising and dissipating of forms. Get some props.
Wait, I was just thinking of a more straightforward scholarly approach.
Jess. Screw that.
Go ahead and read.
Okay. Troilus and Cressida was written in 1603 and appeared and published in 1604 in quarto and appeared in the first folio, but this version is some 166 pages shorter than the second quarto version in 1645, which is 166 pages longer. No. Ladies and gentlemen, my book has nothing to do with Mickey Mouse and hippies. It explores the possibility that Shakespeare's plays could have been written by a monkey at a typewriter. I think it's groundbreaking work.
Jess. Is there anything in there about the plot, maybe?
The plot? Of course I cover the plot. What kind of scholar do you think I am? I go into the plot in depth on this footnote on page 29. Troilus, youngest son of Priam, king of Troy.
Okay, so
Okay,
I'll be
so
Troilus.
you be Troilus, and you be the king. Cool.
Sure. Loves Cressida.
I'll get the wig.
And has arranged for a meeting with her uncle, Pandarus. Although she feigns indifference, she is attracted to him, and...
I have to feign indifference?
Yeah.
No.
Anyway, meanwhile, Agamemnon, the Greek
Wait, Jess.
commander, has surrounded...
Agamemnon? Jess, this is boring. It's boring. This is the kind of stuff that kids hate to study in school, right? Because it's so boring.
So?
It's horrible.
Jess, you're being boring, and these people don't like it, so just get over it, okay? Once you said Agamemnon, I was back there and I was asleep, bro. Like, really, I told these guys before we came out today that I would not perform dry, boring, vomitless Shakespeare for you, okay? Like, it would just turn you off to Shakespeare. That's what happened to me. When I was in school, when we were supposed to be reading Shakespeare, I'd be staring out the window at the kids playing ball. And I'd just be thinking, right? Why can't all this Shakespeare stuff be more like sports?
Sports?
Well, hold up. How do you mean?
Well, think about it, right? There's all those kings and queens kind of killing each other off, And then the ball or the crown is passed down from generation to generation to generation. It's kind of like playing a game of football, right? But you do it with a crown.
I mean, they are kind of similar.
Yeah, I can see that. Okay. Let's kick some royal ass. Richard III, Henry VI, part 1, 2, 3,
Hike! And the ball is snapped to Richard II, that well-spoken 14th century monarch. He's fading back, looking for an heir downfield. But there's a heavy rush from King John.
Yeah, my gross flesh sings the
The
word.
crown is in the air. Richard VI comes up with it.
Victory is mine.
But King John comes in and hits him. Ooh, he's killing him out there. This could be the end of the War of the Roses cycle.
Oh, King John is in the clear.
My soul has elbow room.
He's at the 40, the 30, the 20. Oh, and he's poisoned at the 10-yard line. Replacing him now is number 72, King Lear.
Divide we our kingdom in 3. Cordelia, you go long.
Oh, wait. There's a penalty on. Fictional character on the field. Oh, Lear's disqualified, and he is not happy about it.
Bucky.
Lining up now is that father-son team of Henry IV and Prince Hal. Center snaps to the quarterback. Quarterback gives to the hunchback. It looks like Richard III's limp is giving him some trouble.
A horse, my kingdom for a horse.
Oh, no! There's a pile up on the field.
Bombo! And Henry VIII comes up with it. He's at the 20, the 15, the 10. He stops at the 5 to chop off his wife's head. Touchdown for the Red Rose. Oh my, you're gonna believe this is the beginning of the Tudor dynasty.
Henry V, Richard III, the whole royal family's freaking absurd, especially Charles. Woo! Yay! Yay!
Can I get some house lights, please?
Adam, what are you doing?
Well, I just want to check the list of plays. You know, I think we might have done it already.
Really?
Them all, yeah. We might be able to let you guys out a little early tonight.
Oh, that'd be great.
Because look, we just did all the histories, right?
Yeah, we covered the comedies in the lung.
So that leaves the tragedies. I did Titus Andronicus with all the blood.
Romeo and Juliet we did.
Yeah, Julius Caesar, Troilus and Cressida, right?
We wrapped Othello. We did Macbeth with the Scottish accent.
Yeah.
King Lear was in the football game. What about Antony and Cleopatra?
Yep. I vomited right over there, remember?
Oh, right. I mentioned Timon of Athens and, Coriolanus.
I don't want to do Coriolanus.
Why? What's the matter with Coriolanus?
It's the anus part. It just makes me uncomfortable, you know?
So we skipped the anus play.
Right? That's it, right?
That's all of them.
No, guys.
Oh, no. Hamlet.
How could we forget Hamlet?
I don't know, it's right there.
Shakespeare didn't even write Hamlet, did he?
Of course he did. Ladies and gentlemen, 36 down and 1 to go. Maybe the best play ever written in the English language. A play with such lofty and philosophical plots.
Jess, listen, like, Hamlet's a very serious and hardcore play, and I just don't think I'm up for it right now, you know?
What do you mean? We've already done 36.
Yeah, I get that, but with the football game, I'm feeling kind of physically and emotionally drained. I don't think I can do Hamlet justice right now.
Oh, we don't have to do it justice. Where have you been? We just have to do it.
Well, I don't want to do it, so...
Listen, Adam.
No.
Our show is called The Complete Works of William Shakespeare Abridged. I think they'd like to see Hamlet, right? You want to see Hamlet? Look at that! He wants to see Hamlet!
No, I don't want to. I'll sit right here with Joel, and I want you to do it.
No,
Don't touch me! Fine. I'll do it. All right, fine. I'll do it.
Are you okay?
Yep, I'm fine.
Are you okay?
All right, so we're going to do Hamlet now, right?
Yep, yeah, Hamlet. Woo, Hamlet, yeah.
Jeez, have a cow or something. Here's your program back. Sorry, I got kind of trashed. All right, Hamlet. So we start with the guard scene. We're going to need Horatio and Bernardo. Yeah.
Oh, we're going to need Rosencrantz and Guildenstern.
No, they have their own play now. We can skip them.
Hey, where you going?
I'll kill him.
Come back here! We're doing Hamlet and Shakespeare!
So, Jess is usually faster than Adam. So I'm sure they'll be right back any minute now. So, okay, you guys want to hear a joke about construction? Actually, never mind, I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
No? Okay. I got another one for you. What is green and smells like bacon? Kermit the Frog's finger. Nope, 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 no? Okay. Shit, another one. Okay, did you guys hear about the new restaurant in the moon? Great food. No atmosphere, though. No? No? Shit. How about a magic trick? Do you guys like magic? Yeah. Yeah? Okay. No? Shit. Okay, so why don't we take the intermission here, huh? Right? Go out to the lobby, stretch your legs, get something to drink. We're usually much more talented after you've had a couple drinks. So, I'll meet you back here in 15 minutes. Jess and Adam should be back by then. And we will proceed with Hamlet, Prince of Denmark. I hope. Have a nice intermission? You? Yeah? What do you do? Oh, really? What do you do? On your phones, everyone? No. What do you do?
I just sat there.
Nice. Disgusting. So, Jess and Adam are not back yet. Well, actually, Jess called during intermission. He told me that he found Adam at the airport trying to catch a flight out of here. But he told me that until they come back, I should cover the sonnets. So that's what I'm going to do. Shakespeare wrote 154 sonnets. And I've condensed them all into this 3x5 card. And I was thinking that maybe what we could do is, Sarah, start with you, right? You take it, read it, enjoy it, and pass it to the person next to you. And then you take it, read it, enjoy it, and pass it to the person behind you. And then so on, back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth, until it reaches you. By the time it reaches you, Jess and Adam should be back. So if you could just, Bob, house lights, please. Bob. All right, so you take it, read it, enjoy it, pass it to the person next to you. No! Jess and Adam, ladies and gentlemen. It's so pretty, it's got so many words.
Oh, we can do it, man. We know Hamlet backwards and forwards. Come on, dude. Not this again. Adam, blow. Daniel, take him backstage, get him cleaned up. I'll take the intro out here. I bet you Laurence Olivier doesn't have to do this. Not anymore, anyway. Bob, can we have some mood lighting for perhaps the greatest play ever written in the English language? Bob?
Okay.
Hamlet, the tragedy of the Prince of Denmark. The place, Denmark. The time, the 12th century or 13th, a long time ago in Denmark. The battlements of Elsinore Castle round about midnight. 2 guards enter. Come on, Adam, get out there.
I don't want!
You said you would do it. Come on.
Who's there? Hey, answer me. Stand and unfold yourself.
Long live the king!
Bernardo,
He, 'tis now struck 12. Get thee to bed, Horatio.
for this relief, much thanks.
Well, good night.
Peace, break thee off. Look where it comes.
Oh, mark it, Horatio. It would be spoke to.
What art thou? By heaven I charge thee. Speak. 'Tis God.
It was about to speak when the cock crew.
Break we your watch up. And by my advice, let us impart what we have seen unto Hamlet, Prince of Denmark.
Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt, thaw, and resolve into dew. That it should come to this but 2 months dead, so loving to my mother. Frailty, thy name is woman. Yeah, you. Married to mine uncle, my father's brother. The funeral baked meats did coldly furnish forth the marriage tables. Oh.
My lord.
Horatio! Methinks I saw my father, Horatio,
Where, my lord?
in my mind's eye.
My lord, I think I saw him yesternight.
Saw who?
The king, your father,
The king, my father, but where was this?
upon the platform where we watched.
Oh, 'tis very strange. I shall watch tonight. Perchance 'twill walk again. All is not well, Horatio. Would the night were come. Ooh. The air bites shrewdly. It is very cold.
Look where it comes!
Oh, angels and ministers of grace, defend us. Something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
Mark me!
Speak, I am bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear. If ever thou didst thy dear father love, revenge is foul and most unnatural murder.
Murder.
The serpent that did sting thy dear father's life, now wears his crown.
My uncle.
His uncle. Let not the royal bed of Denmark become a couch for incest.
Incest.
A couch. And you, Hamlet, remember me.
My lord, this is strange.
Oh, there is more in heaven and earth, Horatio, than are dreamt of in your philosophy, so piss off. Methinks hereafter to put an antic disposition on. All is out of joint. O cursed spite, if ever I was born to exit right! Shit.
Neither a borrower nor a lender be. How now, Ophelia? What's the matter?
My lord, as I was sewing in my closet, Lord Hamlet came in with his doublet all embraced, no hat upon his head, pale as his shirt, with a look as purport as if he had been loosed out of hell to speak of horrors. He comes before me.
Mad for thy love?
I know not.
Why, this is the very ecstasy of love. I have found the cause of Hamlet's lunacy. Since brevity is the soul of wit, I will be brief. He is mad. Look where the poor wretch comes reading. Away, I do beseech you. How does my good lord Hamlet?
Lord of mercy.
Do you know me, my lord?
Excellent. Well, you are a fishmonger.
What do you read, my lord?
Word.
Though this be madness, yet there's method in it.
Daddy, the players are here and they want to talk to you right away and they want something. I don't know what they want, but you better get back here as soon as you can, okay? Hurry.
I am but mad northwest, when the wind is southerly. I know a hawk from a handsaw. I shall have these players play something like the murder of my father before mine uncle. I'll observe his looks. If he do but blench, I'll know my course. The play's the thing, wherein I'll catch the conscience of the king. To be or not to be, that is the question. Whether 'tis nobler of mind to suffer the slings and arrows of outrageous fortune, or to take up arms against a sea of troubles and by opposing end them, to die, to sleep, or to just take a nap, but hope you wake up in time for dinner because you have to make guacamole for 8, and you just can't take the pressure of this speech.
Jess,
I can't do it, I can't.
It's okay. Look, me and Daniel have been talking backstage, and you don't have to go through with the speech if you don't want to, okay?
I'm so embarrassed.
Ladies and gentlemen, you will have to excuse him. You know, it's a very heavy and emotional speech, and he's been under a lot of pressure lately, what with what's been going on with Felicia.
Felicia! Bye, Felicia.
It's okay, big
Ladies
guy.
and gentlemen, Felicia is Jess's favorite character in General Hospital. He's upset because, well, Felicia got LASIK eye surgery in the latest episode, and it went horribly wrong. I actually think it's kind of ironic that she went blind in her quest for perfect eyesight. It's okay.
Yeah, so we'll just skip this speech. You know, we all think it's a very overrated speech anyway. I mean, Hamlet is supposed to be thinking about killing his uncle, and instead he's thinking about killing himself, and we just think it weakens the character overall. So we'll just skip to a later point in the play.
Yeah. Shall we skip to the play within a play sequence?
Yeah. So we'll just skip ahead, and you really don't miss anything at all.
Ooh, actually,
What?
there's that one other speech of Hamlet's. I do not think we should cut it.
Oh, you mean the "what a piece of work is man" speech?
Yes.
All right, so there's this one speech that goes, I have of late, but wherefore I know not, lost all my mirth, foregone all custom of exercise. And indeed it goes so deep with my disposition that this goodly frame, the earth, seems to me a sterile promontory. This most excellent canopy, the air, look you. This brave o'erhanging firmament, this majestic roof fretted with golden fire. Why, it appears to me no more than a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What a piece of work is man! How noble in reason, how infinite in faculty, in form and moving, how express and admirable. In action, how like an angel. In apprehension, how like a god. The beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. And yet to me, what is this quintessence of dust? Man delights not me.
Right, so we'll cut that speech and go right to the killing.
Yeah.
What about the get thee to a nunnery scene?
Oh, yeah, let's do that one real quick.
Yeah.
Wait, we can't. I'm not in the right costume, you know?
We have to. It's central to the plot.
We can't. I'm not in the right character either. Ophelia is a very complex character.
What? No, it's easy.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. Anybody could play that character. My own mom could play that character. That lady over there, she could play that character.
Well, then let's get her to do it, because this is giving me a headache. Come on, let's go. Please.
You guys, this is not fair. Okay, Jess, I did not make you do your speech. You can't just bring some bozo on stage to play Ophelia.
She's not a bozo. Besides, she volunteered. Hi, how are you? What's your name?
Alyssa.
Alyssa, hi. Do you mind if we call you Bob?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, it's a little easier to remember. So, now this is a really simple scene.
It's extremely difficult.
So, Hamlet's been having this relationship with Ophelia, right? But with everything that's going on with his mother and his uncle and his father, yada, yada, he just can't take it anymore.
He's being a prick.
You are. So, he gets all worked up and he tells her to get out of his life. He says, get thee to a nunnery. Now, in our version, all Ophelia does in response is she screams. Hamlet yells, get thee to a nunnery. Ophelia screams. That's it. You want to try it? Yeah. Let's go. Okay.
Yeah. Hey, good luck.
Hey, leave Bob alone. Right?
Ready?
I
Right there.
won't even watch it.
Get thee to a nunnery. Ah! Ho,
You hear that, Adam? I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, it fucking rocked.
No, it sucked, really. I don't mean to be catty, but you're not an actress, and it shows. You know, you obviously had no idea what was going on inside of Ophelia's head.
Actors use what they call subtext, Bob.
Or inner monologue.
Yes, and that is exactly what you didn't have. And as a result, your performance was just flat and one-dimensional. But I think you showed a lot of heart. You showed a lot of courage, a lot of, as Shakespeare would say, chutzpah. And I really think we can workshop this and make it a happening moment for you. In fact, Bob, can I get some house lights, please? Because I think we can get everybody involved in this, you know, kind of create a supportive environment for Bob here, have them act out Ophelia's id, ego, and superego, you know?
Oh, like a Freudian analysis.
Yeah, Lloydian analysis.
I get it.
Ego.
Okay.
Please.
Okay. You are playing Ophelia's ego. At this point in the play, her ego is flighty, it's confused, it's an ego on the run, okay?
So, the way we're going to have you symbolize this ego on the run is we're going to have you run back and forth across the stage, right in front of Ophelia. You want to try it? Just go. Run right
Go.
Wait. Yeah!
A little
Good
bit
job.
of an egomaniac, am I right? Okay, Okay, so now, everybody, you know what? You three are going to be Ophelia's id. Her id, it's confused, it's wishy-washy, it's a wash in a sea of alternatives.
Wow.
So, if you could just have you three, hands in the air. Now wave them back and forth, kind of ondulate, and then go, maybe, maybe not, maybe, maybe not. Can hear you.
Ready?
Maybe not. Maybe.
There we go, save some for later.
All right, but those two were great, and you were like, sort of like, so then you know what that means? You're gonna have to do it
All by yourself. Now don't be embarrassed, nobody's watching.
Ready? Arms up, ready? Yeah! Good job!
You know what, guys? I'm feeling a lot of love in this room tonight. And, the rest of you, we're going to use you to be Ophelia's superego. You know, it's the last psychological component, and it's the most important because it's made up of those strong, moralistic voices inside your head that tell you exactly what to do. They're very loud and very difficult to shake. Some people never shake them in their entire lifetime. It's kind of like Catholicism. So I'm going to break you guys off into 3 groups. Jess, can you help me out on this?
Sure.
So you two, you are going to be Group A, right? You 3 are going to be Group B. And you in the sweater, you will be Group... There you go. It's not that bloody difficult, is it? Okay, now Group A. You are the masculine part of Ophelia's brain, you know? The animus, so to speak. And I want you to use Hamlet's line for this. I want you to say, "Get thee to a nunnery." Let's try it.
Get thee to a nunnery.
Section A? That was awful.
Come on, guys. We want it very loud and very strident. Section A.
Get thee to a nunnery.
Yeah! That was much less totally pathetic.
Okay, now, Group B, you are the voice of vanity, saying, "For God's sakes, do something with yourself. Put on some makeup or something." No offense, really. This is straight out of the Shakespearean text.
It is, no offense.
I want you guys to say, "Paint an inch thick," Section B.
One more time, try.
Just try it one more time. Just
Ready, all 3.
Paint an inch thick. Yeah, all right. Section A, you can learn something from Section B, just so you know. Now, Section C. You are the most important component of them all because we are going to use you to drag this into a modern context because we want Ophelia to be relevant to the women of today. So maybe she wants power, but she doesn't want to lose her femininity. She wants to be a corporate executive, but she wants to have babies as well. And somewhere deep inside her psyche, she's sick of being the hippie waifish chick, and she just feels like asserting herself and saying, "Cut the crap, Hamlet! My biological clock is ticking, and I want babies now!" It's that angst-ridden, really.
Okay. Well, why don't we have you say that?
Yeah, we'll have you say, "Cut the crap, Hamlet! My biological clock is ticking, and I want babies now!" Try it again, so we can hear you. Cut the crap, Hamlet! My biological clock is ticking, and I want babies now! That was great. Okay, now, Bob. We are going to get all of these elements into play. The id, the ego, the superego.
The biological clock.
Maybe, maybe not.
And your job as an actress is to synthesize all of these elements within your soul. We will build everyone into a roaring frenzy. Stop everything. All attention goes to you, and you let out with that scream that epitomizes Ophelia. Look at her, man. She can't wait. And remember, no matter what happens, act natural. All right? Start with the ego.
That's you ready? You're gonna run back and forth. On your mark, get set, go! Go, 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 go.
Okay, arms up.
Keep doing it.
Maybe,
Over.
maybe not. Maybe.
Get ready, Dave. Ready? Get the nunnery. Get the paint an inch thick.
Section C.
The crap, Hamlet. My biological clock is ticking and I want babies now.
Section A.
Get thee to a nunnery. Section A, let's go. Paint an inch
Section
thick.
C. My biological clock is ticking, and I want babies now. Section B. Section A.
Get these
Section B.
nunneries.
A. C. D.
Hamlet, my biological clock is ticking, and I want babies now. Stop. Yeah! Oh, thank you so much.
Oh my God, that's so so good. Come on, get off. She's such a good actress. Oh my God.
So much. Thank you. You can go back to your seat. Such a good Ophelia. Better than this guy over here. You were great. Thank you so much. Boy, we really shared something there, didn't we? I said, didn't we? Yeah. Right. So, I digress. Back to Hamlet. Act 3, Scene 2, the famous play within a play sequence in which Hamlet discovers conclusive evidence that his uncle murdered his father.
Now, speak the speech, I pray you, as I pronounced it to you, trippingly on the tongue. Suit the word to the action to the word, and hold it, as it were, the mirror up to nature. Will the Lord be seeing this work?
Aye, and the king too, presently.
And now, how does my cousin Hamlet and my son?
A little less than kind.
Well, I have nothing with this answer, Hamlet. Those words are not mine.
Take a seat, my lord.
Oh, yes. The Royal Theater of Denmark is proud to present The Murder of Gonzago. My lord, Act 1.
Intermission.
How likes my lord the play?
The lady doth protest too much, methinks. You get it? You get it? She protested? She doesn't get it.
My lord, Act 2.
Gesundheit.
What?
Dun, 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 dun.
The king rises. Give over the play. Lights away.
Oh, I'll take the ghost's word for 1,000 pounds.
My lord, the queen will speak with you in her closet.
Then I will come to my mother.
Behind the arras, I'll convey myself to hear the process. Where's the goddamn arras in this joint?
Now, mother, what's the matter?
Hamlet, you have thy father much offended.
You have much offended my father.
What wilt thou do? Thou wilt not murder me. Help! Help!
Help! Help!
How now? A rat!
Oh, shit.
Dead for a ducat. Dead.
Now, Hamlet, where's Polonius?
At supper.
At supper? Where?
Not where he eats, but where he is eaten.
I'm here to save the day!
Oh, no!
No,
It's
there.
Laertes, son of Polonius,
Brother to Ophelia.
and a snappy dresser.
Why, thank you. Oh, thou vile king, give me my father. I'll be revenged for Polonius' murder. Murder! How now? What noise is this? Dear maid, kind sister, sweet Ophelia!
They bore him barefaced on the bier, with the hey nani nani ha cha cha. And on his grave rained many a tear, with the hey nani nani hey nani. Oh, I am crazy. I'm out of my tiny little mind. See me? That's acting, okay? Here's a rue for you, and a rosemary for remembrance. And I would have given you all violets, but they all withered when my father died, you bastard! I'm starting to feel a little nauseous.
Hamlet comes back.
Wait. What's the next scene with Ophelia?
What?
What's the next scene with Ophelia?
There are no more scenes with Ophelia. What? Hamlet comes back. What would
No,
I?
no, come on, I'm up for it, really.
That's all Shakespeare wrote, man. Hamlet comes back.
Well, what happens to her?
She drowns.
Drowns?
She drowns.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah, keep going. Hamlet comes back. What would I undertake to show myself my father's son indeed?
Here I go!
To show myself my father's son indeed, more than in words, to cut his throat in the church. Aye, and to that end, I'll anoint my sword with an unction so mortal that where it draws blood, no cataplasm can save the thing from this compulsion. Huh?
This skull had a tongue in it once and could sing. And then came the Jenny Craig Weight Loss Center. Alas, poor Yorick. But soft, here comes the queen. Couch me a while and mark.
Lay her in the earth, and from her fair and unpolluted flesh may violets spring. Sweet to the sweet. Hold off the earth. Hold off the earth a while.
Who is that? Who is that? Whose grief has such emphasis? It is I, Hamlet, the great Dane.
Hamlet, Prince of Denmark.
Hey, gentlemen, please!
That's my sister.
Laertes, stop!
The devil take my soul.
I shall fight with him until my eyelids no longer wag. The cat shall mew, and the dog will have his day. Give us the foils.
Come, one for me.
Be careful, these are sharp!
Come, sir.
Come, my lord.
One.
No.
Judgment.
A hit, a very palpable hit. What are you wearing? Let's play Guess Who I Am Now. Hamlet, here's to thy health. Drink off of this cup.
Oh, nay, set it aside a while, mother, father, uncle, whoever you are. Another hit!
No.
What say you?
A touch, I do confess.
Hamlet, the queen carouses to thy fortune.
Madam, do not drink.
Oh, I will, my lord. I pray you pardon me.
It is a poisoned cup. It is too late.
Come for a third, Laertes. Yo, Laertes! Repulse! Olé! Regardez! Café olé! Disarmé! Parlez-vous français? Oh, disarmé! Ah! Merde! Oh, that's the queen.
She swoons to see thee bleed.
No! The drink! The drink! I am poisoned!
Villainy! Treachery! Seek it out!
It is here, Hamlet. Here I lie, never to rise again. I can no more. The king's to blame.
What? The point in Venom 2? Then Venom to thy work! Here, now murderous, incestuous, cross-dressing Dane, follow my mother!
No! Forgive me, Hamlet. I am justly killed by mine own treachery.
Let heaven make thee free of it, I follow thee. You, there who look pale and tremble at this chance, that are but mutes or witness to this act. If thou ever held me in thy heart, absent thee from felicity a while, and in this harsh world, draw thy breath in pain to tell my story. The rest is silence.
Hey, come here. Very well. Ladies and gentlemen, we shall do it one more time. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the complete works of William Shakespeare abridged, but we have a few more minutes, so we will run through Hamlet one more time, very quickly. I just have a brief announcement to make because you've seen a lot of props flying on and off this stage, a lot of swords coming in and out, and I just want you guys to know we make these things look simple, though they're very difficult to pull off and very dangerous. So keep in mind that the three of us are trained professionals. Do not try this at home. Yeah, go to a friend's house.
Oh, that this too solid flesh would melt.
My lord, I think I saw your father yesternight.
Oh, would the night were come.
Ooh. Mark me!
Something is rotten in the state of Denmark.
Avenge my man! My lord, this is strange.
There are more things in heaven and earth, so piss off. To be or not to be, that is the question.
My lord?
Oh, get thee to a nunnery. Now speak the speech, trippingly on the tongue.
Give all the play!
I'll take the ghost word for £1,000. Now, mother, what's the matter?
Thou art not murder me! Help! Help!
Help! Help!
How now? A rat!
Ah!
Dead for a ducat, dead.
Now, Hamlet, where's Polonius?
Supper,
Where?
dead.
Ah! Sweet Ophelia! Sweet Ophelia! Lay her in the earth. Sweets to the sweet, hold up the earth a while.
Oh, it is I, Omelet, that she's Danish.
Omelet, Prince of Denmark, the devil take thy soul!
Give us the foils.
Oh, I am slain! Oh, I am poisoned!
Oh, the rest is silence.
Come here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we will do it faster.
Oh, I am slain!
I follow thee, the rest is silence.
Wow.
Yeah!
You've been fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. Seriously, you guys are an amazing crown. Small, but amazing. You know what? We will do it backwards.
What?
I got carried away, sorry.
You are very sick individuals, okay?
Oh.
Be sure to listen for the satanic messages. Silence is rest, thee follow I.
Paul is dead. Slain am I. Oh.
Foils thee us give, Dane the Hamlet, I is this.
Dane the Hamlet. Earthy of home. Sweets the too sweet. Earthy in her lay.
Queen that comes here, Yorick poor alas.
Ophelia sweet. Ah! Ooh, father my is where?
Dead for a ducat, a for dead.
Hail! Hail! Help me, murder not wilt thou, do thou wilt what?
Matter though, what's mother now?
Cecil get.
Tongue thee on, tripping thee, speech to speak. Nunnery, a to thee get.
Lord my good!
Be to not or be to. Denmark of state, in the rotten is something. Horatio, earth in heaven, therein more thing are.
Strange is this, Lord my. Ooh!
Solid wood, flesh melt, tutu this that oh.
Yesterday, father, your saw, I think I, Lord my.
You thank.
Woo! Thank you, thank you, thank you. Excuse me, thank you, thank you, thank you. You. We just wanted to say Thank you.
This has been the complete works of William Shakespeare, abridged.
Wait. What about the rape of Orcus?
Listen, believe it or not, we do this show 8 times a week. So if you liked it, tell your friends.
You didn't tell your enemies.
The Phoenix and the Turtle.
Thanks again for coming. I'm Daniel.
I'm Jess.
And I'm Adam.
And we're going to Disneyland!